this is something like small, I feel like, but something that's really just nice to hear. When a player signs with your team and they chose you over other teams. And again, it's such a small concept. Like, okay, like at the end of the day, if they don't and they only went to your team because of money, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a huge like problem. But it's just nice to hear that like this guy wanted to be a Bengal. And that's the case for Kyle Duggar and for Jazir Taylor. Now, I did say in my video yesterday, there's a chance he doesn't make the roster. And that's really only if we go ahead and draft like a cornerback in the first round. And then if we follow that up by drafting another corner and maybe picking up a veteran corner, then there's a chance he doesn't make the roster. But chances are he's going to make the roster given the circumstances. And that's really why he signed with us. So he did turn down a more guaranteed money contract from another team. We don't know exactly what team that was, but he did turn it down to join the Cincinnati Bengals, mainly because he wanted to compete for that nickel role on our team, which would be him competing with Fig Newton, which so far, listen, Fig Newton has not been the best in that slot role. But, you never know, right? You never know second year how things, or not second year, but another year under the belt, how can he get better? Usually when it comes to a new defensive coach, it usually takes around 2 years. Same concept with offensive coaches too, but usually takes 2 years for a player to truly learn and master a system. So we'll see how Fig Newton does, this upcoming season. But at the end of the day, it's always good to have healthy competition. It helps out everyone. And in the end, we find out, hey, is Fig Newton the guy or is it going to be somebody else? And that's really what it comes down to. So I'm just, again, like I said, I know it's something small, but it's just, it's cool. It's cool to be like, you know what? He's a Bengal. He's a Bengal because he chose us. It's not like we kind of just went out there and, was like, oh, yeah, who can we get? This is the guy who said, yeah, I want to be a Bengal. And the same concept applies to Kyle Duggar. It doesn't, like, one for one here say that he chose us because of that. But as it says here, usually in this time period of free agency, guys are going to sign with places, not really for the money as much, because, let's be honest, if you're still a free agent at this point, you're probably kind of like you can't pick exactly where you want to go. It's more just like, okay, what is available and what options are available. But it's about starting role and a chance to be a starting player. And Al Golden has already come out and said that at the end of the day, he wants to have as many toys as possible. And he wants someone he can utilize in the box as like a box safety. That's something that helps out against run support. It helps out against pass rushing. I mean, being able to kind of use in a weird way like how the Ravens use Kyle Hamilton, where they put him in the box and then they can go ahead and, rush him off left or right hand side and get right to the quarterback. That's exactly what we want to do with whoever we get. And Kyle Duggar is that guy. I mean, Kyle Duggar is an amazing pass rusher when you utilize him in the box, and he's also great in run support. So it's kind of a combination of everything where it comes to this is the perfect scenario for us to go get a safety. If you remember last year, this is a guy I really wanted when the Steelers ended up trading for him, which sucks so bad. I really wanted Kyle Duggar because of that exact premise. This is something that, again, in the end, it's a year late, but it's still happening, and I love to hear that. So, across the board, man, I think we're going to have a great team. I know there's going to still be people who hate on us and say we're just not that, but I think so far this offseason, we have done a great job bringing back Dalton, worrying about that, and then focusing on this defense. And it's something that, we're going to have to wait and see how everything transitions. But one thing I do like, and I think it's very underrated here, is we're not putting all the pressure on the draft. And don't be wrong, I'm not trying to say the draft, obviously, we still have to have a good draft, right? We do. But at the end of the day, it feels like we're not putting all the pressure in the world on the draft, where if you just don't do anything in free agency or you just don't do the correct moves, then it's like, okay, it's draft or bust. This doesn't feel like draft or bust. This feels like, okay, the draft needs to be good, but it needs to be good in the idea that we're filling the positions we need to fill where we're not reaching for players. And sometimes when you're in a situation where your free agency sucks, you feel like you have to reach for players because you're like, well, we sucked in free agency and now we have so many different holes to fill. I don't feel like we're in that spot right now. We have so many holes to fill in this defense. Like after free agency, after the draft, we're probably going to pick up a veteran linebacker, right? That's going to help out a linebacking crew. If we get Sonny Styles, I mean, that would be amazing to pair with Demetrius Knight Jr. and Barrett Carter. And then, if we get a safety sometime in this draft, it'll be a good rotation piece, like a backup rotational guy. Then, of course, we have the option to get another corner for backup and rotation purposes, especially with Taylor here competing for the slot role. You get another edge rusher, maybe in free agency after the draft or through, the actual draft with Ruben Bain. Like, there's options where this is not the best draft, and we know that. This is just bar for bar not the best draft. But we're not really looking, I feel like, after this free agency move so far, we're not really looking for every single position. It's not like we're just going into saying, okay, whatever we can get, we're good. Whatever we can get, just get something. We can be more strategic. I always butcher that word when it comes to this stuff. So it's kind of like the mindset has changed, I feel like. Where we're not like a beggar can't be a chooser mindset. We're kind of like okay, this is the final, strike here. Let's get this correct, and then we worry about free agency afterwards, and we can put the finishing touches on this roster. So, very excited for that. Very happy for that. Can't wait to see what the draft looks like. As always, I will be live streaming the draft all 3 nights. Well, 2 nights, and then the Saturday is like 12 o'clock when it happens. But with that being said, not mean to hold up. Okay. This is okay. There we go. Shout out to our members as always, as that absolutely just got destroyed for a second. Shout out to our brand new member, the real Ricky Bobby. Absolute legends. If you'd like to become a member, down below, join icon. You do get custom emotes, custom badges added to all my videos and descriptions. And as always, guys, it's gonna be a fun year, but we got to get there. And it is April. I feel like this year so far has been going by so lickety-split, which I appreciate because, I want to get to the season as much as possible. But we do have another thing going on, guys. We have baseball season. So if you are a fan of the Cincinnati Reds, check out First Stop Reds on YouTube, my daily Cincinnati Reds channel. We upload Cincinnati Reds stuff. We also live stream every single game. So if you haven't watched the Reds game, you're like, hey, I don't like baseball. I'm just, that's just not me, bro. I'm not a baseball fan. Give it a try. You never know. I used to not really be that crazy of a baseball fan, but stop by one of our live streams. We'll be live today at 4 o'clock. And yeah, it's a crazy good time. It's crazy stuff going on. I post on my community tab whenever we do go live. So should be a good time, but I'll see you guys next one.